Evolution is something I never believed in. I just listened to the history teacher to get better grades. But after the exam, I'd flush everything out of my system because there's no way I'd believe that my forefathers were apes. But the kind of evolution that I started believing in gradually is unfolding within the car scene, something I cannot flush out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the era where man drives a blender. Electric cars are considered to be weak and vegetarian. But again, that is the future that we are all headed into. All non-meat consuming species are considered to be weak. Car companies like Tesla are making muscle electric cars, four-door sedans that are embarrassing supercars on a daily basis without breaking a sweat. It's actually safe to say that Tesla has made veganism cool. But now, all car companies want in on the electric car craze. BMW has now an entire division dedicated to electric cars. Mercedes-Benz is developing a concept car that will be based on the A-Class. Nissan, well, let's just hope they do something better than the Leaf. You cannot count on both hands the number of companies that are working on electric concept cars, as it seems that they might catch on sooner than we think. Now, before you dismiss this video on the premise that cars are supposed to be powered on petrol only, well, go ahead and do it. But I bet you also think that the earth is flat. But that is just you. Now, looking at some cars that use both the technologies, that is internal combustion and electricity, we have the McLaren P1, we have the Ferrari LaFerrari, and we have the Porsche 918. These three are considered to be the holy trinity of hypercars. And they all have one thing in common: a petrol-powered engine that is supported by more than one electric motor. So yes, blenders are actually working together with engines, and it's amazing. Sure, electric cars may be the future, but despite the growing interest today, the concept of electric vehicles is just a resurgence of what had happened a long time ago, actually in the 1800s. If there was ever a perfect application of the phrase ahead of its time, well, it was the electric car back in 1800s. That's not to say that they were not popular 100 years ago. In fact, the US Department of Energy cited that electric cars were making up to a third of all vehicles on the road in the 1900s, and in 1911 the New York Times called it the ideal vehicle. But by 1935, electric cars were nearly non-existent. It actually took decades before things could change. And now, by 2030, VW, Volkswagen, the biggest automaker in the world, has vowed that 60% of its vehicles, or rather the vehicles that they will be producing, will all be electric. And not just under the VW brand, but also all its brands. We have Porsche, Audi, Seat, Skoda, Bentley, Bugatti, Lamborghini, we have the Ducati motorcycles, VW commercial trucks, Scania, and MAN commercial trucks. This has seen VW's electric car sales increase by more than 400% in the past 1 year. For now in Kenya, however, we're still digesting the idea of hybrid cars. Thinking about fully electric powered cars is a long shot. Let's be honest, we can't even sufficiently power all our homes. Well, what happens if we adopted electric cars and their technology? I bet it would be the perfect excuse for getting late at work. I could not charge my car, boss, and that's why I was late. But in my opinion, this is something that is not for us, more or less the next generation. And when we get to that point, I hope that we'll have a few petrol-powered vehicles that can actually be left for the next generation to enjoy what we had. That's if emissions caused by those same cars and industries that produce them do not push us to extinction first. And next week, I'll be driving an electric car to just show you how it feels, how it drives, and what it's like to live with one. This is Car Central. I'm Faisal Ahmed.